Hey, folks, it's Mark Arum. I hope you're enjoying the Mark Arum Show podcast. A reminder, you can hear this very radio show live Monday through Friday. We're live 6 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Happy post-Labor Day to one and all. Me and my gang with you till 8 in the p.m. Going to keep you informed and entertained on your ride home. Speaking of your ride home, as I talk to you on this magical thing called radio, I'm picturing you, the listener, driving on I-75 or I-20, I-85, the downtown connector, all of these massive freeways, and bless your heart that you're stuck in traffic. But I want you to imagine for a second that the freeway you're on right now, let's say you're on 75 North, you're heading up to Ackworth to go home, and you're on 75 North right now, and I'm pretty sure it's jammed through Marietta, and imagine that they have to counterflow the interstate because of evacuation. Like a zombie apocalypse, Longoria, where they say, you know what, we're just, all those northbound lanes, no, they're southbound now, where everything is like heading away from the city or whatever. It's crazy to think about that, but that actually happened this morning, and I watched it live. I-16, who, if anyone's ever driven to Savannah or Tybee, has taken that freeway that goes out to the Georgia coast. I saw them flip the script on it today and block all eastbound traffic heading toward the Georgia coast because of Hurricane Dorian. It was a pretty amazing sight. Joining us from the Georgia Department of Transportation, our good friend and Commissioner Russell McMurry. Commish, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Mark.
Thank you for taking time out. I know you guys are really busy with Hurricane Dorian prep, and we had the I-16 flip this morning. That's a big move when you take an interstate and say, no, you can't go this way anymore. Talk about how that happens.
You're right, Mark. It's no small feat, and it takes a lot of coordination and planning. Over 120 State Patrol and about 80 GDOT workers it takes to take 120 miles of Interstate I-16, and as you said, flip the script. We have to close down the eastbound direction first so that there's no traffic trying to get further out, and then actually ramp by ramp, and they have to be closed down. And we have police and DOT workers there putting the gates down and putting barricades out. So it is a big effort, but we have to do that so that we can provide the opportunity for people to leave and evacuate coastal Georgia so they can get up about Dublin, a little further west of Dublin, and come on up to middle Georgia and Atlanta where it's on high ground.
I can't tell, the countless of times I've driven to Savannah and Tybee Island along 16, and I see those barriers, and it's like hurricane evacuation route, but I've never actually seen it done. But this morning, thanks to the great technology the DOT provides us, I was able to see them do that, and I was like, just picturing if that happened like 85 in Gwinnett. And imagine, like, God forbid this ever happens, but they're like 85, everyone's out. It was, I mean, obviously 85 is not equipped for that, but it was a remarkable, it was like poetry in motion this morning to do that flip. And it is exactly that, Commissioner. It's the hurricane evacuation route. So everyone on the coast can get to higher ground. It was quite remarkable.
Well, thanks for that. I mean, again, it's a big team effort, and regrettably, we are getting too much practice at this. It seems like every year or a couple times a year now between Hurricane Michael and Matthew, just a couple of years ago, that we have these opportunities. But it's really about life safety first and foremost, as well as I-16 being a hurricane evacuation route. We have about 20 other hurricane evacuation routes along the coast. They're not interstates, but they're great roadways that can provide relief for people all the way from down at the Florida border all the way up to South Carolina. And so we encourage people, and if anybody's listening in the coastal Georgia area, please consider those routes as well, because they will be less busy than I-16 for sure. Talking
to Georgia Transportation Commissioner Russell McMurray on the Mark Arum Show. Just a little bit ago, we took Governor Kemp's press conference live here with an update. What's the update from your vantage point from the Department of Transportation? What are your folks doing to brace for the hurricane, and when do you think maybe we can get things back to normal on the coast? Do you have a timeline for us yet?
Well, Governor Kemp's press conference is certainly timely, and his words are wise to everybody to heed that it is time to leave. It's not time to wait till it starts raining. It's time for people to evacuate. And so that time frame is hard to say, but we know it's going to be throughout all day tomorrow and maybe into Thursday with this extremely slow-moving hurricane or tropical storm potentially when it gets to us. So it is time to leave, and our role becomes one of response. We have to wait and see what we're faced with, often flooding and inundation and down trees and power lines. And our job is to get the roadways and bridges back open as quickly as possible in the safest manner possible.
Does the DOT allocate resources or move resources? So you've got crews on standby. Once this thing passes, let's move some of our folks back to the coast and see what kind of help they can do, if any help is needed?
Absolutely, Mark. It's a statewide effort. We have about 860 people on standby right now. A good 1/3 of those are people in the coastal area that can deploy immediately upon the wind subsiding and getting out there. Tomorrow, we'll be watching and moving the rest of that 860 people, the 2/3 of those, toward the coast as the storm dictates.
Great stuff. So not only does the DOT provide, obviously, we're going to need amazing coverage during the winter months with the possible ice storms, but now during hurricane season. Joining us now, Commissioner, is Doug Turnbull with Triple Team Traffic. Doug, what's your question for the Commissioner, buddy?
Yeah, simply, and I'm sure this is still indefinite, but do you know how long the contraflow westbound on I-16 is going to be? And if after the storm they're going to contraflow it eastbound to get everybody back?
Yeah, so, Doug, great question. That's a question we get often is we're going to have to watch and see. We're going to watch traffic volumes tomorrow as we feel that people will continue to leave on into the morning as the storm really begins to impact Georgia more. So we'll watch that traffic volume, and what we'll do is take it out as soon as practical and safe to do so that people can re-enter. We will not contraflow it the opposite way. We'll just put the normal lanes back into service. Today, we've seen about a 33% increase in traffic volume on I-16, but there's still plenty of available lanes out there for people to use to evacuate now.
Commissioner, we appreciate your time. If you have any information you ever need to pass along, please feel free. I know you'll contact us and get it out, but I do appreciate your time and a very, very busy day for you and the entire DOT.
Our pleasure, Mark. Thank you.
Take care. Russell McMurry, DOT, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. Has everyone here, Longoria, Low T, Deb, have you guys all taken I-16 to Savannah, the Georgia coast?
Yeah.
It was remarkable watching that. Like, they shut down the eastbound side, as the commissioner said, and then they have those gates that won't let you get on, and then traffic starts. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've always seen the gates, but I've never known like how the process is of getting all the people off that are going the wrong direction.
Well, I was talking to someone that was involved with the flip this morning, and I was on the phone with them, and I was like, "What's going on now?" Like, well, we're doing this, and then we're going to stop. You got to stop all the traffic first, and then get the gates out, and it's a crazy situation. I've knock on wood, I've never had to. Have you guys ever had to evacuate for anything?
No,
Chuck, like a grizzly evacuation or?
We don't evacuate
an avalanche evacuation in Montana? Nothing? No.
Avalanche. There's no evacuation protocol for. If an avalanche is coming, you're screwed.
Nothing in Montana to ever evacuate. No. Longoria, you ever been to?
I think when I was a kid, we left for a hurricane and went somewhere where it hit worse than what it would have if we would have stayed in Corpus.
Oh, yeah. The Texas coast. Deb Green in Wisconsin. Any reason for an evacuation?
Not in Wisconsin, but I lived in Central Florida for a while. So depending on how close it would come, they would tell you to leave. But it never got that bad because I was in Orlando.
Yeah, I would imagine. Again, I'm not Kirk Mellish for sure. But like the middle part of Florida, does it ever get really hit hard with hurricanes?
It rains all the time in Central Florida, so you will get flooding because it's just really flat there.
Understood. When I was for spring break, I went to where did I go for spring break? Costa Rica, and like the hotel was right on the beach, and every path toward the beach had hurricane evacuation or whatever, some sort of evacuation sign in Spanish,
really?
Like they freak out. There's like a million ways to leave the beach for them. I'm like, what's going on here that we need to evacuate the beach? I just thought it was a really interesting situation this morning when they flipped that. And listen, we don't know yet. We're going to keep you updated on the hurricane. It's actually moving now. Did you see some of the Bahamas damage?
Oh yeah.
Holy! They said the death toll is 5. Forget about it. That island smushed. Absolutely smushed. We hope that the same doesn't happen to the Georgia coast. I mentioned Tybee Island. Edgar Tragetz talked to the mayor of Tybee Island today about the preparations going on there.
We're expecting tropical storm force sustained winds midday, and also storm surge, which I'm worried about most, 4 to 7 feet.
And Mayor Jason Butelman says low-lying homes on the western side of Tybee, his biggest worry. That area had bad flooding from hurricanes Matthew and Irma. For residents who live in those homes,
most of them have left. some of them haven't. In fact, I've communicated with one couple who has not left yet.
The mayor says once those winds crank up, anyone who stays won't get help from 911. He expects the late morning high tide to flood over the main road. Edgar Tragus, 95.5 WSB.
That high tide thing. So I don't know, guys, if you've ever been there. I love Tybee Island, by the way. But I was, years ago, I was stuck there because of high tide.
Oh, really?
Like, it's so low lying that high tide came out and they're like, oh, yeah, the road's closed. You're stuck. I'm like, I got to get back to work. What do you mean? It wasn't a storm. I think it was like a full moon or something, like one of those.
Right.
Red moon tide, whatever the hell those are called. And I was stuck there because of the high tide. It closed the road.
2 years ago, they had one of those high tides, and we were supposed to go to Savannah for the day, and we got stuck on the island. We couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
They're like, no, we drove, and there's a bunch of traffic. Like, what's going on? And finally, a police officer came tooling down, telling everybody, Matt, turn around.
Yeah.
The road's not going to be open for another 6 hours or something. We're like, oh, all right. So.
Was Erickson okay with that?
No. He's pissed.
he was mad?
He's mad.
Yeah. I mean, I love Tybee, but I would get the heck out of Dodge. Like,
we're supposed to go there this weekend.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you going to get a refund? Yeah, you'll get a refund. No? Why not?
It's a whole story.
Oh, it's a whole thing. Right. Little payola plugola there for low T. And the Revenant. Anyway, your thoughts on Dorian. Obviously, we've got you covered here with news, weather, and traffic. The evacuees, if you are from coastal Georgia or Florida and Metro Atlanta, welcome. Thanks for listening to the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB Atlanta's News and Talk. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight, including Walmart in the news. Lil Sanjay is going to join us with Would You Rather and your calls next. 404-872-0750 on Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum. This is the Mark Arum Show. Four 872-0750 1-800-WSB Talk. The entire news, weather, and traffic team monitoring Hurricane Dorian. The very latest through the overnight hours, and of course tomorrow morning on Atlanta's Morning News. Rob joins us in Lithia Springs. Rob, welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
Well, hey, Mark, it's Rob again. It's good to hear your voice.
Likewise, buddy.
Hey, I was involved in the Hurricane Rita back in Louisiana. That was no fun.
Rita, that doesn't ring a bell. How long ago was that?
That was Katrina, Rita, in that time frame we hit New Orleans.
Yeah.
And that's been, 10 years ago, maybe more?
I remember there was one hurricane that hit Connecticut when I was a kid, and I want to say Andrew, maybe Michael. I don't know. No, it wasn't Michael. Maybe it was like mid '80s, Deb. And I remember going outside during the eye of the storm. Have you ever been out in the eye of the storm? So you've got this. This wasn't a Cat 5 in Connecticut or anything, but it was like a hurricane in Connecticut, which we've never had. And I remember it was like pouring rain and windy, and all of a sudden,
Gloria,
Hurricane Gloria, probably. And I go outside. There's birds chirping. The sun's out. I was like, this is crazy. Can you imagine that happened in, like, biblical times? Like, thank you, Lord. The hurricane's over. Oh no. I didn't pray it the right way. It's back again. Because you get that little eye where you think you're out of the clear. It's crazy stuff. When we come back, we're going to talk about Walmart being in the news and Hurricane Dorian. 404-872-0750. 1-800-WSB Talk. The Mark Arum Show at 95.5 WSB.
Just like music. Hey, this is Phil Niekro, inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1997. You are listening to the Mark Arum Show. What other show would you listen to?
Welcome back to the aforementioned Mark Arum Show. Me and the Bananas at your beck and call till 8 p.m. Don't forget, guys, you can listen to the show once you get home via Amazon Alexa and the WSB radio app. I talked to my mom this weekend, so I went to Connecticut over Labor Day weekend to see the folks, and my mom listens. She says it sounds better on Alexa than in the app, actually. I don't have an Alexa that I use, but apparently the audio is very clear on Amazon Alexa.
I guess it depends on the speakers on your phone, right?
Exactly. I don't have good speakers on my phone. The app sounds fine to me, but she says she says Longoria's voice is very, very bass heavy on the Alexa.
Oh, I paid Alexa for that.
Did you pay with a little extra?
Yeah.
By the way, I do have important stuff to talk about. So, Maya's best friend's mom listens to the show, and she's a sweet lady. I love her. And for some reason, she thought your name was Angoria. with no L.
I like that.
Yeah, Angoria.
That'll work.
Because she wants to come to the listener lunch. And she goes, will Angoria be there? I'm looking at this text. I'm like, Angoria? Like Aunt Gloria almost. Anyway,
nice.
Shout out to Jenny's mom for listening. I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about, but we'll talk about that horrible story off the coast of California. The scuba boat. Oh, God. Did you see that story, Chuck?
Just the one that caught on fire?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to talk about what I will talk about it in a little bit, but I want to talk about this Walmart story. So I woke up from my nap this afternoon, and my phone was blowing up from all these news alerts. Walmart, which was the scene of one of those mass shootings, they all blur together now, unfortunately.
Right.
They came out and said they will discourage... they're limiting ammunition sales at the Walmart stores. I don't know what that exactly means. And they're discouraging open carry of guns in stores, meaning... it's not banned, but they don't want you to come in with your gun on your holster. You know, I guess if you have a concealed carry permit.
Conceal and carry is fine. They're discouraging open carry.
Yeah, like don't walk in with a shotgun, Longoria, basically, because that can understandably, I guess, make some people nervous. But if you're concealed carry like me and Chuck, you got it on your hip, on your ankle, whatever.
That'd be the day.
That will be the day that I go to Walmart. No, So anyway, but I don't know the legality of any of this. Because I was thinking about this. How many times do you go into a store and it says no shirt, no shoes, no service?
Oh,
right. They make that. They can make the rules.
Sure.
So Walmart can make the rules, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know how.
Yeah, I mean it's their store. They can make whatever rules they want.
So they just discouraged the open carry of guns, right? But could they flat out say we don't want guns in our store? Is that legal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like some
Rachel's
states,
shaking her head no.
Some states you have very specific rules, and like Missouri, there's a very specific rule that said your signage had to be X. You know, it had to be this size, type had to be this size. Anything outside of that, and you can ignore it.
Okay.
So it was very specific. I think, and I'd have to look, but I'm pretty sure here in the state of Georgia, them just putting a sign or a notice that says, "Hey, we don't allow guns on the premises," is enough for them to.
Interesting. So let's say Chuck opens the Elk Steak.
Yes.
Cafe.
Sweet.
Where he just serves
That's it. No size.
No size. Just
and not that you would do this, because I know you wouldn't, but you could prevent people from carrying firearms in your establishment.
You just put a sign out that says
interesting.
Discourage it. And you know, look, I've been places, not here in Georgia, but in other places. I've been asked to leave when people realize that I'm carrying. I've been asked to leave before.
Really?
Like, okay, fine.
Like an example. Don't give me a name of a place, but like a restaurant?
Yeah, it was just a little cafe.
Yeah.
I happened to bend down to pick up my napkin, and you could see it on my side. And so what the manager came over and said, "Hey, man, is it okay if you hurry up and skedaddle?" Basically, I was like, "Yeah, no problem."
Oh,
I just paid my check and left.
See,
I'm not going to cause a problem.
I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I knew like federal buildings could do it, like you or the airport, for example, like you can't.
Sure.
But I did not know that. Mm-hmm. All right, that makes sense then.
Yeah, one of the little bars, or not bars, but little craft brewery places you can go get other stuff. There's a sign right on the door that says, no guns allowed inside the premises.
Okay, look at Chuck bringing the heat.
I know a lot about guns.
So here's what I want Walmart to focus on more than concealed carry and open carry and all that. I don't know. I haven't been to a lot of Walmarts. The one Walmart I go to is the Howell Mill Walmart, and they only have shopping carts there. They don't have like baskets to carry your stuff. Like when I go to Walmart, I go for specific things, like just little things, blah, blah, blah. I don't need a whole cart, but it's usually too much to carry in my hands. My Walmart doesn't have those little baskets to carry. Is that common at all Walmarts or just mine?
They do have them. They're just never by the door. You have to go looking for them.
Oh, really?
They're usually by the checkout. Like they're too lazy to move them to the front. But the ones that the closest to mine, when I go, they're always like right at the checkout.
I've been to the Walmart Howell Mill location 100 times. I've never seen one basket. It's like I don't want to push a whole cart around for like 8 items. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to carry one of those baskets around. So
why not?
If I'm even getting one item, I'll take a basket.
Oh, you don't want? You do want the basket?
No, I don't want the little bitty one.
Why?
I want the big. I don't know.
It's effeminate, you think?
No. I just don't want to have to carry it.
It's
with a basket. You don't have to carry anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You just got to push it.
No, that's the cart. You're pushing the cart.
Yeah. I don't want to hold a basket.
So
I don't want to have to
you'll get a cart for one item.
Yes,
definitely. For one package of frozen enchiladas.
Definitely.
You'll get a whole cart. You are weird.
I will.
90 degrees on Peachtree still, by the way, folks. We're going back to a 9 on the Mark Arum Show back sweat meter. I got spoiled in Connecticut. 72 degrees, no humidity. It was flipping fantastic. The weather up there, I mean, outside of winter, is just remarkable. I got out of the airport yesterday afternoon. Just the furnace blasting.
You ever think, why did I leave in the first place?
No, I know why.
Well, I mean,
because of snow. The blizzard of '96 is why I left New York.
That's why you left?
Yeah, 100%. I didn't tell you that story?
No.
I'll tell you.
Andrew's never had to shovel snow for like weeks on end. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, no, there's one specific blizzard. I'll tell you why you can fault this blizzard for having me in Atlanta. Jeff's in Marietta. Jeff, welcome to the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, Mark.
What up, buddy?
I was just going to mention that in Georgia, the signs would say, no firearms. You can ignore in Georgia. Unless they specifically ask you. They've determined in Georgia that a sign does not override your rights unless you're specifically asked to leave. And then if you do not leave, then you're trespassing. And, of course, that's a criminal matter.
Interesting. So you can ignore the sign, but if they ask you to leave, you have to obey that.
Correct. Usually what they may do is tell you to put your firearm in your car. You can come back. They don't kick you out or ban you. But if you refuse to do so, then you're trespassing.
What if you stand your ground, Jeff?
Again, it's trespassing. It's their property. They can make any rule they want on their property. They can refuse to serve who they want to serve. That's their right.
Within certain things, right? I mean, they can't be racist.
Well, apparently not a gay cake.
Yeah, exactly. But like you can't say no Mexicans allowed, or you can't. They can't say a sign like no Mexicans allowed or no Jews allowed. That's illegal.
Armed Mexicans.
He's breaking up. I think he said armed Mexicans.
I think he said that too.
All right, we'll come back with more of your calls on this, and Little Sanjay still to come with Would You Rather. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. My message to Walmart, before you handle the gun issue, let's get some hand baskets in there. It'll make it a much more pleasurable shopping experience that I don't have to push around a cart. If you just have those little baskets, they're not very expensive. Every other place has them. They're catering to Longoria and his cart fetish. We'll come right back on Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum. This is the Mark Arum Show. Hurricane Dorian, Walmart on the discussion table on the Mark Arum Show currently. David joins us in Tyrone. What's going on, David?
Mark, you got to tell me why it's Tyrone. You got to tell me why.
So there's an Erykah Badu song. I don't know if you've ever heard of Erykah Badu, and she's got a song called "You Better Call Tyrone." And basically, she's kicking her boyfriend out of her house, and she's like, "You better call Tyrone to come get his stuff out of there." So every time I see Tyrone, I sing that song.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Listen, the reason I called, the guy at Walmart, the top dog, the guru that he is, he's not paying attention to where his company came from. In 1981, I worked for the America's first Walmart, which called Sears and Roebuck.
Mm-hmm.
In 1981, Sears and Roebuck said, we're going to quit selling guns, ammunition, and the whole 9 yards, and we're going to take them out of our catalog. Catalogs used to be, the Internet.
Exactly. I remember it well.
Okay. If you look at Sears, and at that same time, Walmart comes along, and Walmart comes out of, obviously, Arkansas. Very rural roots. They start building and supplying rural America.
Sure, absolutely.
Which where guns are,
So it's just to get to the point, David. So Sears dropped the ball and Walmart picked it up and ran with it. And part of that were guns and ammo. Here's what I've noticed on social media about this story, Chuck, is that this apparently, Twitter, my Twitter sphere, claims this is a huge win for the mom and pop gun stores. Like this, they've lost a lot of customers to Walmart because Walmart, sells everything cheaper. And if Walmart stops selling the ammo and the guns, then the local mom and pop shop will benefit from this.
Yeah, I stopped shopping for that stuff at Walmart a long time ago.
Because they have no hand carts.
Well, that too.
You can't carry your bullets. Yeah. You're not going to put a little thing of bullets in a big cart.
That's
you need the little basket.
I need a big cart for that
Yes,
stuff,
exactly.
Other people don't.
Chef William joins us on the show. What's going on, Chef?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Excellent. What's cooking?
So I actually was asked to leave a restaurant a few weeks ago because I was concealed carrying. I leaned over and got my stuff, and they saw it. He came up and asked me to leave in a very not nice way.
Really?
And I was like, no, I'm not going to leave.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I'll call the police. I said, go ahead and call the police. When the cop tried to walk in, I was like, cop can't walk in. He's got a gun on him, too. And the cop just busted out laughing. The cop laughed the whole time. And he actually jumped the manager. Was like, is he causing you trouble? Is he doing this? No, I just don't want him in here. And I said I ate my food and got up and left, but I just wanted to make a point that if you ask somebody nicely, they might do it. But if you get really attitude and get really mean with them, they're not going to do it. And Georgia is right. Jomo is right. They can ask you to leave, but the sign on the door doesn't mean anything.
Always the case is you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, Longoria. Stop catching flies with vinegar. It's not working out for you.
It's not working.
Speaking of, I got pulled over this weekend. Speaking of police officers, I'll tell you. When we come back, I got that story. I got the blizzard story. I got Sanjay. I got your calls. We got a bunch to do and not a lot of time. 404-872-0750. While you're at home, listen on the app or Amazon Alexa. It's the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB.
The Mark Arum Show is performed before a live studio audience.
No, I want this town to be near you. I stand
Welcome back to the show to go to Tuesday Eve to you. Mark Arum here, you there. It's 7:08, 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the Mark Arum Show, heard Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. on 95.5 WSB. My whole family here, post-Labor Day. Deborah Green produces the show. Angoria, the stoic Eskimo on the other side of the takeout window. Low T screens your calls. So this is what I'm going to do the last half hour of the show. I got so much to talk about. I want to tell you about my weekend in Connecticut. I got to tell you the blizzard story. There was another story I had to tell you. You got to remember these things, Longoria. Anyway, so the last half hour of the show, I'm just going to focus on all that. I want to talk to you guys. Oh, me and get pulled over by a cop.
Yes.
Police pullover. I got to write that down. All right. But in the meantime, I want to talk about Walmart. And this is Jamie Dupree tweeted this out, and I trust Jamie Dupree more than anybody. So this is a statement from Walmart about them pulling out of the gun and ammo business, kind of. So this is from Jamie's Twitter feed. This is from Walmart. After selling through our current inventory commitments, we will discontinue sales of short barrel rifle ammunition, such as the .223 caliber and 5.56 caliber, that while commonly used in some hunting rifles, can also be used large capacity clips or military style weapons. They will sell through and discontinue handgun ammunition, and they will discontinue handgun sales in Alaska, marking our complete exit from handguns. So basically, Chuck, Walmart is done with handguns, and some of this ammunition, you would know more than I. What exactly is .223 caliber and 5.56 caliber? Is that a big deal if they're pulling those out of the stores?
.223 is a big deal because that's a pretty popular rifle cartridge.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other one.
All right, but it would still be readily available for the average hunter.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to Walmart for that stuff anyway, so I don't think it's that big a deal.
What I feel
like it was when Dick's did it.
Yes. What I feel though is like there are areas in this country where Walmart is the only store.
Yes.
You know.
Now, yeah.
And I don't know. Can you order ammunition online? Will Amazon bring you bullets?
You have to. Someone's going to call and yell at me because if I get this wrong.
Don't yell at Chuck, folks.
I believe it's a lot like firearm sales. You can order that stuff. I don't think you can delivered directly to your house. I think you still have to go pick it up from a licensed dealer. I'm sure someone's going to call right now.
Well, that's what I feel bad for. Those areas, usually rural areas, where there's just the Walmart and you have to get everything there.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like in Montana, the general store. If Chuck couldn't get his stuff at the general store,
you're out of luck.
You're out of luck. You got to drive 90 miles. How far did you go for the movie theater?
50 miles.
50 miles? How far for a Burger King?
Oh, 50 miles.
50 miles.
Yeah.
See,
everything was 50 miles.
I'm thinking about you, Chuck, on this thing.
2-day trip by wagon.
My more pressing issue, though, is can we get baskets in Walmart? And maybe I'm just ill-informed, but the Walmarts that I go to don't have the hand baskets.
None of them do.
It's annoying.
I never see them.
And maybe it's a ploy, like, well, if they get the basket, they'll fill it up.
If you get a cart, you might fill that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get the cart, like Longoria, he'll just throw more stuff in there. I just go in for specific things. I just need the hand basket, not the cart.
Yeah.
Tackle that Walmart first. Bob's up next on the Mark Arum Show. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
What's up, brother?
223 and 556 are the ammunitions of an AR-15.
Okay.
Next, you can order ammo over the internet. I bought 2,500 rounds of 223.
Oh, good. All right. That's good to know.
So What I was going to say is, by the way, I'm from Gainesville. I've been looking for Russ at dumpsters, Pizza Hut, Dollar General. I hadn't found him yet.
So, real quick, Bob, I'm gonna let you continue in a second. So, Johnny Kilbasa started a fantasy football league this year.
Yeah, anyway,
and my team name is, hold on one second, Bob. And my team name, I made it my team name Russ from Gainesville.
Nice.
So, it's me and Johnny Kilbasa and all these guys from Ohio. And they're like, Arum, why is your team name Russ from Gainesville? I'm like, ask Johnny Kilbasa about it. All right, go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry. Continue.
As far as Walmart's concerned about asking people not to carry their weapons, I work for a national tire and service retailer. I'm not going to say who, of course, but
yeah,
a couple of years ago, some onion-headed corporate got the good idea of putting a sticker on our window with a pistol and a line through it, no firearms permitted. Well, it took about 6 weeks and about 10,000 emails and calls and concealed carry and carry organizations and the NRA. And we got a mass email, take these stickers out of your windows immediately.
My favorite part of that whole call, Bob, and it was a great call, was the new insult that he brought to the table, onion head. Where the hell did you find that, Bob? That's fantastic.
Corporate onion heads, man.
Have you guys heard that before?
Never.
I love that. You scallion head.
With a kid whose name was Onion Head because his head looked like an onion.
That's fantastic. I'm putting that in the quiver. Onion head. Listen here, onion head. Rand is in Marietta. Rand, welcome to the Mark Arum Show.
Hey, Mark. Hello, Connecticutite. Did you go to Frankie's while you were there?
I did not. I stayed in Litchfield County. I know.
Chump. So, yeah, the Walmart baskets, they do not have them because people were stealing them. I found that out at the Woodstock one on 92.
Really?
Yes, and another Walmart on Johnson Ferry, they actually have the security devices strapped to the basket so you can't walk out the door without setting off.
Get out. I remember when the shopping cart theft was a big thing, and they started putting those trackers on there. Like, who the hell's stealing a big metal shopping cart?
Homeless people.
All right, fair. Good answer, Longoria. Good answer. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk.
It's time for Would You Rather with Lil Sanjay.
He's the guru, the soothsayer, the truth seeker, the asker of unanswerable questions. He is definitely not an onion head. He is Big Sanjay, who joins us with Would You Rather. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Just got home just in time to get on the radio and eat some dinner.
Have you ever heard of, you're from India and Alabama. Have you ever heard the insult onion head before?
No, I haven't.
I like it.
I'm surprised to hear that. Yeah, I've never heard that.
All right, here we go. Sanjay's going to ask us unanswerable questions. We're going to answer them in the studio. I want you to play along in your car. What's the first question, Sanjay?
Okay, first we're going to start with a question that's on everybody's mind. You probably answered it 10 times. Would you rather a Chick-fil-A sandwich or a Popeye's chicken sandwich?
Oh God, they're just different animals. They're different animals. But I mean, gun to my head, last meal kind of thing. I want both, obviously, but the Popeye sandwich was better. It really was, and I love Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwiches. That Popeye chicken sandwich was a life-changing experience. Of course, you can't get them now. Advantage Chick-fil-A, but I'm going Popeyes. Deb.
I don't care, Chick-fil-A.
You didn't have the Popeyes.
I don't care.
You can't comment on it.
It's food. It doesn't matter.
Indeed. Food question, skip Deb. Chuck.
I gotta go with Popeyes.
It's sad. I hate to do it.
Yeah.
Because Chick-fil-A's like family.
Yeah.
But that chicken sandwich, it was just bigger and it was just
my last one.
It was just better. Longoria.
Yeah, Popeyes.
So I fly back last night or yesterday afternoon, and it's Monday, but in my head it's Sunday. And I'm flying through the airport. We're going to the baggage claim at the airport, and I see this couple sitting on the bench eating Chick-fil-A, and I think it's Sunday. I'm like, Maya, what the hell's going? Like, there's a Chick-fil-A open on Sunday, and then she's like, it's Monday, jerk. She goes, it's Monday, onion head. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But I thought for a second, like, you could get Chick-fil-A at the airport on Sundays. I was like, well, I'll drive down to Hartsfield on a Sunday to get a chicken sandwich. That's how much I love Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But that Popeye sandwich was crazy. All right, next question, Sanjay.
All right, on the same food line, so Deb, you can omit this one. Would you rather eat pizza with the only topping besides cheese being pineapple, or you can have any topping you want but no cheese?
I can't eat a pineapple pizza. Even if I pick it off, the juice is on there. Horrible, yeah. So I'll go cheeseless pizza, which I had this weekend, fried dough pizza. Deb, do you want to chime in?
Either way, it doesn't bother. I'll
you
have
go.
it pineapple or without.
I can't have pineapple on a pizza. It's just
Pineapple's the worst thing and I love pizza. Pineapple's the absolute worst thing anybody ever thought to put on a pizza.
It's just disgusting.
I'll take it without cheese.
I love pineapple on my pizza.
What if someone put pineapple in an enchilada?
Well, it's not the same thing.
Why not?
Because it's not a pizza.
Neither of them belong. Pineapple doesn't belong in an enchilada or a pizza.
Sure it does.
It does not.
With Canadian bacon, it does.
No. It's
awful.
I love Canadian bacon and pineapple.
You can put your Canadian bacon on there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But
I would have a Canadian bacon pizza, but pineapple, get the hell out of Dodge with that.
Can't stand it.
Next question, Sanjay.
Next question. Would you rather have to clap loudly and cheer for a full minute every time your plane lands, or replace every form of greeting with howdy?
Well, I don't fly that much. I think it would get annoying if I said howdy to everybody. So I'll clap for a minute every time my plane lands. I'm okay with that. Deb Green?
There's someone in the building that says howdy a lot.
Really?
I'll say howdy.
Everyone turn off their mic. Tell me who it is off the mic. Tell me right now.
I'll tell you later.
Turn your mic off and tell me. Oh, really?
All the time. You see him in the hallway.
I never noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that person. Guy or girl, I won't mention. Chuck, what are you doing? Clapping or howdy?
I'm saying howdy. I'm not standing up and wildly clapping because the plane landed. I'm not going to be that lunatic.
But you're literally saying howdy to everybody.
That's fine.
Even people you hate.
That's fine.
All right. Longoria?
I'll say howdy.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to stand
up.
Clapping in an airplane like an idiot?
It's like twice a year. What's the big deal? Is howdy a big greeting in Montana?
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy in evening.
Do you tip your cowboy hat? Howdy,
evening.
ma'am.
Howdy in the morning, evening in the
evening, ma'am.
Yep.
Hey, just a note. When I'm hiking with Josie, when we're out hiking remotely and I see somebody it's a remote, you barely see anybody, just to seem less intimidating, I always say howdy. I don't know why.
Do you think you seem intimidating on the onset?
What are you talking about? Have you seen me?
That's why I asked.
Well, honestly, if you, especially if Sanjay's if he's hiking with his shirt off, people could be like, it's a baby Sasquatch. Look at that hairy little guy.
He said howdy to me.
Look at that little hairy Sasquatch saying howdy.
All right.
Last question. Last question.
Would you rather win $100,000 in your bank account, that's after taxes and everything, or your best friend win $1 million, but you can have no direct or indirect benefit from that $1 million?
$100,000 for me. No question. No question. $100,000 for me.
My best friend?
Best friend.
No, $100,000 for me.
Really? All right.
Wow.
Third best friend, maybe.
Third best friend. Chuck.
When my best friend was at his worst, I would have said him, but he's doing really well now, so screw him. I want the $100K.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, $100K all the way.
Yeah, my friends are doing fine.
Yeah.
If I had a best friend that was struggling,
sure,
give it to him. Like if you switched it up, Sanjay, and said my brother gets $1 million or I get $100,000. Not that my brother's struggling, but he could use $1 million.
Yeah.
So I would do that. But just my best friends,
yeah,
they're fine.
Yeah,
they'll be fine.
They'll be all right.
They'll be all right. You're like you, Sanjay. You're doing fine. You don't need $1 million. You'd rather have me get $100,000.
I mean, I could use $1 million.
Yeah. Well, speaking of money, Sanjay is the official accountant of the Mark Arum Show. Follow him on Facebook. It is Brass Tax Accounting. Use promo code Little Baby Sasquatch and get 7% off your 2019 taxes. Little baby, you got to spell it right though. Little Baby Sasquatch. Appreciate you, Sanjay.
My pleasure.
There he is, Little Sanjay, and Would You Rather. Coming back with more of your calls. This is the Mark Arum Show.
Mark Arum on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Chuck's still laughing that Sanjay doesn't want to intimidate people on the hiking trail. He might be the least intimidating guy. He's just such a nice guy.
It's just the greatest.
He's not very physically imposing, right? Like like me or Longoria on the trail. You might be like, oh, let me turn around.
Well, first, we don't look like we should be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first red alert. Like, oh, what are these guys hiking?
Yeah, why are they here?
That's a good point. Ricky joins us on the Mark Arum Show. Hello, Ricky.
How you doing, Mark?
What's up, brother?
By the way, I think my new CIA code name is going to be Onion Head.
Isn't that fantastic? Onion
Head.
Head.
Where in the hell did that come from?
I have no idea.
Whatever. But anyways, we're talking about Walmart. And some of your producers said that they had them on their ways to whatever else. And they bent over and, they were asked to leave the restaurant. Simply, if you put a small 38, just strap it to your ankle. That's what all the cops do.
Yeah.
I mean, that they do walk into restaurants and it's, you can't see it underneath their,
404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. When we come back, I got some more calls, but I really got a lot of stuff to tell you about. Me getting pulled over, my blizzard story, my food coma this weekend. Deb Green's going to tell us about her weekend as well. That's a hell of a tease right there. She says, okay. Howdy, buddy. 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. On Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum. Listen at home on the WSB Radio app or Amazon Alexa.
Hi, this is Jane Seymour, and you're listening to The Mark Arum Show.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, a camel, and a kangaroo. Packed him in that ox so tight, I couldn't get no sleep that night. Rolling Stones, Shep and Ham, tell them about that master plan. Oh, my Lord.
7:36. It was a 9 on the Mark Arum Show back sweat meter today. Good grief. Good grief. Good grief. We're going to keep you up to date on Hurricane Dorian and all the breaking news associated with that throughout the overnight hours with our buddy Mark Alewine, and the very latest tomorrow on Atlanta's Morning News starting at 4:30. I've got a bunch of stories to get to. Let me tell you one briefly. We'll get to some calls. So how I wound up in Atlanta in 96. It was the winter of 96. I was in Marist College in New York, and I lived in a basement apartment, Longoria. $310 a month was the rent. It didn't have a stove. I had a fridge and a toaster oven, but no stove. But I liked it. It was perfect. And it was a basement apartment, subterranean. So it was, kind of under the ground. And there were steps that led down to my front door, and the front door opened outward. And we had this huge blizzard, and the snow piled up in front of my front door. And since the door opened out, I couldn't get out of my house. Oh. And I had like zero food in my house. This is pre-cell phone, pre-internet. I was trapped in my home. And I was like, never again. Never again. That's why I moved to the South, because I'm like, I could have died, Longoria.
You could have, yeah.
I could have. I had a big goldfish tank. I was eating the goldfish by the end of the blizzard.
Nice.
Yeah, but I didn't have a stove, so it was sushi.
Yeah. All right.
So that's the blizzard story. I want to say about my weekend in just a second, but James joins us on the show. Hello, James.
Hey, you asked earlier, why would you steal a shopping cart?
Yeah.
Well, this is why a lot of inner city stores switch to the plastic carts. It's because you build a fire, you flip it upside down, and you've got yourself a grill.
Oh, no kidding. Chuck, you ever grill out on a shopping cart back in the day?
No, I
Can't
wasn't.
say that I've ever done that.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right. So that's why, because you can't obviously grill on plastic. But I remember when one of those things first came out, they had like little low jack systems on the thing. And it was like at A&P. Like you can't leave the parking lot. And I was like, how do you even go about stealing that? You just do it by hand? You just toot down Main Street pushing this cart? Homeless people and grillers, people that don't want to pay for the big green egg. They're like, well, I'll just get a shopping cart and fire up. By the way, how was your birthday party this weekend? Sorry, I missed it.
Oh, it was fine. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was fine.
Yeah.
At the pool and
I
out of town.
fully intended to go until my mom guilted me into come visiting her. So
listen, Mama Arum's way more important than coming.
No, I felt bad. I felt bad because, you only turn 41 once.
Yes.
Longoria went?
Yeah.
I did.
You had a good time?
Girls were there. They had a good time.
Girls and everything.
Yeah.
Frasca, not a fan of Walter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Walter's an acquired taste.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, he's like that to everybody, Frasca. Yeah. Don't want. But anyway, I belated apologies
no worries.
that I didn't make it. David's in Tucker. David, welcome to the show.
Hi. Kroger has one of those low jack things. You can't get very far outside the store with your shopping cart.
With the shopping cart? Interesting.
Right. And Onion Head fact, Andy Griffith starred in a comedy entitled Onion Head, in which he was the featured person as a bald guy. I think it was a black and white film that came out in the 60s.
So is it a bald insult then? You can only call a bald person Onion Head?
Well, I mean, that was their principle, that was the joke, but I have no idea where it comes from elsewhere.
Interesting. All right. So maybe we need to reserve onion head for bald. But I think that's kind of mean to call it bald. I would rather just call everyone onion head.
Yeah.
I like it as a general insult.
Yeah, it doesn't, not specifically for bald people. All right, so let me go to my Connecticut weekend. So first, I got pulled over. I drive up to Connecticut. It was the Goshen Fair. I'll tell you about that in a second. And then on Sunday, my parents were like, well, what do you want to do? Because we went to the fair on Saturday. And there's this little town called Great Barrington, Massachusetts. It's like 50 minutes from my parents' house. And I was like, well, it's a cute little town. Let's go there and check it out. So we go there. It's an awesome little town. I mean, it's just picture like any town, Main Street. They have these like little restaurants, and it's just nestled in the Berkshire Mountains. It's gorgeous. It's just beautiful. So we're driving back from there, and Waze is taking me. I hadn't been to that town in 25 years. So I'm using Waze to get home, and the Waze takes me down the side road, not the main road we got in there. I was like, all right, I'll trust Waze and go. And I'm going down the side road, and I go by a police officer, hits his lights right away. I'm like, oh, he definitely got me. I don't even know I had no cell signal. I didn't know what the speed limit was. He pulls me over, 59 and a 40. I was like, it's feasible. I could have been doing 59 and a 40. So I'm in a rental car. I rented a car. I'm in a rental car with New York license plates, and I give him a Georgia license. And he's like, what's going on here? And I'm like, well, it's a rental. These are my parents, blah, blah, blah. We're driving home. He's like, where's home? Torrington, Connecticut. The kid's like, he must have been like 25 years old, the police officer. He's like, oh, I was born there. I was like, no kidding. He's like, yeah, my grandfather used to own City Diner. And my dad's like, oh, I used to go there. They had a great Reuben or whatever the hell. So he comes back, runs my license, comes back. He goes, you can thank your father, small talk, for not getting a ticket. And he just gave me my stuff, and I was on my way. But he actually talked for a while. So apparently in Great Barrington and all of Massachusetts, marijuana is legal now. So he just saw the New York plate and thought I was like some New York Yankee coming in to buy weed and heading back to the border. And then he looked in the car and he saw my parents and mine. He's like, all right, these guys aren't,
Yeah, they're not smuggling.
Yeah, they're not smuggling weed out. So he let me, but I can't remember the last time I got pulled over by a police officer. I was actually like giddy. I'm like, oh, I'm getting pulled over.
What's the matter with you?
I don't know. And it's funny because if I haven't been pulled over, I don't know, 15 years, because I usually don't speed, but I was definitely speedy. I had no idea it was 40 miles an hour on this road. But I wasn't like nervous or pissed or anything. I was just like, oh, I'm getting pulled over. Like, it's been so long. And I was fully expecting a ticket, but he gave me a
Thanks to your dad.
Thanks to my dad's small talk. So my dad's like, you're buying dinner now. I saved you a $300 ticket. You're buying dinner. So anyway, so that was the police story. So we go to the Goshen Fair. Did you have fairs growing up, Deb, in Wisconsin, like county fairs or whatever?
Oh, the county fair and the state fair were like the only thing that ever happened.
Huge events, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Chuck in Montana, they have?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your city have one, like your town, or is it like
sure,
county?
Like a really small one,
Yeah.
but the bigger ones you had to travel to.
So this was, I love it. You can keep this music playing. What about in Texas? They have fairs?
Yeah. They have a big state fair in
This
Dallas.
was the Goshen Fair. So in Northwest Connecticut, there's fairs. Everyone's got a fair. Harwington, Goshen, Riverton, Colbert. I mean, it's just fair season. And I love going up there, but I hadn't been to the Goshen Fair since college when I worked for a bakery and I would deliver dough to one of the stands where they made fried dough pizza, which is my favorite thing in the world. So we get to the Goshen Fair, and it's really grown since the last time I was there. And they have all the livestock, Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
The sheep and the pigs and the rabbits, and they have the horse competitions, and they have the lumberjack competition.
Yeah.
With like the sawing and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So there's one, I'm watching now. I didn't stay long for the lumberjack competition, but it was called the Jack and Jill log cutting. Deb Green looks so bored right now. She looks so bored right now. So it's a guy and a girl on a big saw. Not on a big saw, but holding a big saw. You know those big saws, Longoria, like in cartoons?
Yes.
So they've got a log on this like platform, and they have to race to do the thing. And it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. So the first couple, two couples that go, the guy is pulling so hard, he rips it out of his Jill's hand. Right. And he's just basically by himself. She's like, ah. And the second one, the first couple, they must have been pros. They whipped through that thing like butter. And this other, they were going, I guess it was like the number 1 versus the number 16 seed.
Sure.
Because the 16 seed, the other couple was done with the log, and these people were still making their first indentation.
Still trying to get that thing in there.
But the perseverance, they didn't quit. They were like, all right, we're going to see this. I mean, the first couple knocked it out in probably 12 seconds. It was that quick. It was like butter. 3 minutes in, these people are still and I'm like,
rolling.
Yeah, and the guy's sweating, and he's like, blah, blah. Anyway, so we go to the fried dough pizza stand first, and it's my favorite food in the world. It's basically dough. They fry it, and then you can either put sauce on it, like pizza, or like sugar and cinnamon and make it a dessert, kind of like a funnel cake.
Okay.
I always get sauce and put Parmesan cheese, and it literally comes right out of the fryer. I take a bite of it, right, and it's a dumb rookie move. It's still burning hot. I burned the roof of my mouth. This was Saturday at noon. It is now Tuesday at 7:45, and my mouth is still, I can't eat any foods because the roof of I think I have a 3rd-degree burn on my mouth. And I have no idea how to treat this thing.
Got to ride it out.
If the crust on a bread hurts me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's so painful. It's one of the most annoying things of all time. Burning the roof of your mouth. So I had that. I had fried clams. I had a big potato pancake the size of your head, Longoria. It's like this big around.
That's big.
What else did I have? Apple crisp. I know you really care about
apple crisp sounds good.
Oh, so good. I can't remember all the food. But anyway, it was a great time. Perfect weather. I love county fairs. We need to go to fairs here. I know they have the North Georgia Fair. Can you get a list of fairs, Deb Green? Is that possible?
Sure.
In the area?
I know there's a bunch at Stone Mountain. Every season change, there's a fair out there.
I love fairs. I didn't do any of the rides or anything. You could take the girls to the fair, though, right? They would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Chuck?
I like it.
Is your daughter old enough to do a fair yet?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. That's all I got to say about that.
Fairs are a good time.
Yeah, fairs are always. I could see you. What's funny is, Chuck, I bust your chops about living in Montana, lovingly.
Yeah.
But you would fit right at home in Northwest Connecticut.
I'm sure I would.
I mean, it's
anywhere
farms.
north. I'd
it's howdy, ma'am. It's farms. It's. I mean, I could see you and Hot Neighbor living there. Absolutely, 100%. So we're not that different. That's what I'm trying to say. You and I are very similar.
Oh yeah.
It shows.
Dennis is up next on the Mark Arum Show. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, you guys.
What's up, buddy?
You're talking about rifles and all that with the 223 and the 5.56.
Yeah.
223 is basically a civilian compared to the 5.56, which is NATO. Now, in the AR-15, you can use a 223 and a 223, but in the 5.56, you cannot use it on the 223. But on a 5.56 rifle, you can use both.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. That's fantastic. All right. So will this Walmart story impact you at all, Dennis?
Yeah.
No? You good?
I go to a gun store or the base.
That's the one thing, the one positive out of this that I've seen is that the mom and pop gun shops are going to benefit. Walmart giving back some of the business that they might have taken away over the years. Karen's in Athens. Karen, welcome to the show.
Hey, I just wanted to say, you didn't go to the Great New York State Fair in Syracuse, New York?
I've never been. I've heard amazing things. That's a long drive from my home in Connecticut to the Syracuse Fair.
I get that, but you know what? I grew up there, and you never knew what a gem you had in your backyard, and I live in Athens, and went last year for the first time in probably 20 years because kids start school so early down here. We could never go, and what you were talking about was actually called a pizza frite.
Pizza frite, exactly right. Fried pizza, exactly right.
Your fried dough, and then you got to have your Gianelli sausage.
I did not. They have the sausage and pepper grinders. We call them grinders in Connecticut. I did not have that. My mom had candied bacon. What's if I go to the Syracuse Fair, the New York County Fair in Syracuse? What's the first food item I need to get there?
Well, all right, you got to do your pizza frite. You got to do your Gianelli sausage. You got to do your funnel cake. But the things that you really have to go see are like the butter sculpture.
The butter sculpture.
The butter sculpture. It's in the Dairy Building, and you go in the Dairy Building, you get free milk, and they have a butter sculpture.
They did not have it at the Goshen Fair. They did have like the produce categories, where like the biggest eggplant or
biggest pumpkin.
Yeah, and they had cakes. They had a baking contest, and like in the cake contest, they would cut like a 3-inch square right out of the middle of the cake to taste it. Like, all the cakes had these little holes in them, and it was like, yeah, you get the ribbons, blue ribbon for first place. It was interesting. The biggest green beans and stuff like that. Fairs are good. Fairs are good. So is Longoria, Low T, and Deb Green. We'll be right back. This is the Mark Arum Show.
Mark Arum on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Final segment of the program. Big show tomorrow. A return of Millennial Match Game. Johnny Kilbasa with a fast food review. Right, Deb? We have Millennial Match Game tomorrow?
Yeah, I had someone bail on me, so I got to find a new player. But I'll find one.
Check that girl Brittany in sales.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, it'll be fat happening tomorrow for sure. Maybe Randy. We can get Randy back in. Always good to have Randy. Harold's up next to the Mark Arum Show. What's going on, Harold? You old onion head, you there?
Everybody clap your hands.
All right, never mind. That gives me time to tell one more story. It happened just before the show. So we were getting a food delivery today at 5:30. So the front desk calls, and she's like, hey, Mark, your guest is here. I was like, all right. So I text Deb. I'm like, boom, Deb, the food's here in the lobby. So I was on my way up, and apparently Deb was on her way up also. And we walk out, and it's a guy named Jackie Patterson, who's a lawyer and a judge, dressed up to the nines, not carrying any bags of food. And I was like, hey, how are you? He goes, hey, Jackie Patterson. I'm like, hey, Mark Arum, thanks for coming in. No idea what's going on here. I think he's the church's chicken delivery guy. Is that what we're supposed to have? Right. So Deb and I are like, we're in the elevator, and I'm looking at Deb like, did you schedule this Jackie Patterson guy? Like, we've talked about him before. He's, Municipal Court of Atlanta, he's a big deal judge. And we were just like looking at each other, and I'm like, so, what's going on, buddy?
He kept saying, oh, I'm here to see Mark. All right,
yeah.
I'm here. And security's like, oh, this is Mark's guest. I'm like, oh, okay.
Anyway, he was here to see Mark Winnie, not Mark Arum. So by the time we get to the first floor in the elevator, we figured out, like, he's like, aren't you usually wearing a suit? And I'm like, I'm usually dressed up in the morning. Figured out he's here to see Mark Winnie, not Mark Arum. So I took him back up to the third floor. But yeah, I was like, wow, the chicken delivery guy's not bringing any chicken. What's going on? It was kind of awkward. Anyway, let's do star of the show. Jackie Patterson.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum star of the show?
Are they going to give it to Jackie Patterson? Never hurts to have a judge on the payroll, right?
Does not.
Yeah, I could pull in that favor. Jackie Patterson, judge. City of Atlanta, star of the show. First time we've ever had a judge a star of the show. We'll continue the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at Mark Arum. Facebook, Mark Arum WSB. Don't forget the Mark Arum Show podcast available every night right after the show on WSB Radio and on iTunes. In the meantime, go to sleep, little baby.
Don't need no other loving, baby. Go to sleep, you little baby. Go to sleep, you little baby.
Guests of the Mark Arum Show stay at the All Suite Omni Hotel, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile.